I see what ho, chaps and chappets, Game Chap and Bertie here.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, fellows, and I dare say we are now reporting on a rather interesting finding. In fact, a secret song in Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U.
We most certainly are, yes indeed. But there's more to it, because this secret song has a history dating right the way back to 1990.
1990, my
Most
word.
certainly, it's a secret song that's been popping up in games since then.
I see. Now, this is, of course, if you like, the hallmark of the sound designer, Mr. Kazumi Totaka. Now, he is, of course, a famous figure at Nintendo because you know that voice of Yoshi, old chap?
Yoshi, yes.
In fact, Mr. Totaka does the voice for Yoshi.
Does he really?
Contrary to popular belief, it's not actually Bertie. It is Mr. Totaka does the voice for Yoshi, the very famous high-pitched sort of cute-sounding voice. Now, also, he is a sound designer and has done various music pieces.
Ah, very interesting.
Now, on many of the games in which Mr. Totaka has had a development role, you will find hidden in a certain amusing area of the game, and not necessarily within immediate glance, this particular song which has been called and dubbed Totaka's Song.
Aha! Now, can we hear that song?
We can, by now. Of course, the very first example of this song was way back in 1990 in a game known as X on the Game Boy, but we're not actually going to show you that one at this time. We're going to show you the first well-known example, which was, of course, in Mario Paint on the Super NES in 1992.
Right back in 1992?
That's 23 years ago, my word.
Yes.
That was a long time ago,
It's a long time ago.
Now, of course, Ales, in that particular game, you had to click the letter O on the title screen because you had a mouse with that game, you'll see. And here's what happened when you did. So mysterious and some might say somewhat spooky, a melody of sorts there, it seems.
Most certainly, yes. Hidden within the game way back in 1992. But it didn't end there.
And of course not, the next appearance was a Japan-only game known as For the Frog the Bell Tolls. That's right, in fact, a character from that game recently appeared in Super Smash Bros. On Wii U. But in that particular game, you could find it by entering a certain building and just standing there for 2 minutes. That's right, you had to stand there for 2 solid minutes.
Yes, that's the thing with the way this is done.
Yes.
These secret songs, they don't play automatically.
No.
They're triggered by doing something or not doing something in the case of that one.
That's right, you have to dig them up, Hellboy, and that is the key to finding them. Now also, I forgot to mention this earlier, but in the first game, X on Game Boy, you had to wait 40 seconds on a certain screen to get that one as well.
Most certainly. So unless you did that or you knew that they were there, you may never have heard it.
Exactly. These are hidden for the fans to find. Now we're going to play you another example here, fellows.
Yeah.
This one is from the rather famous and, shall we say, fan-favourite game Super Mario Land 2. 6 golden coins on the Game Boy in 1992.
My word.
Now, of course, on this particular one, you had to get a game over and wait on the game over screen for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And guess what happened when you did? Now, there were not one, not two, but 3 examples in Zelda Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. There were further examples in also Wario Land on the Virtual Boy.
My word.
That is a classic concept, and it flopped, I understand. But also, one of the more popular examples and famous ones, perhaps, was in Yoshi's Story on the Nintendo 64, where yet again, you had to wait for 2 minutes 10 seconds on a certain screen, in this case, the trial mode screen. And here it is again.
Also, why he's doing this, we don't know, but it seems an almost religious tradition that's being followed right across the years. We saw it again in Luigi's Mansion in 2001 on the GameCube.
Did we?
We did, and for this one, you had to go to the training room configuration screen, I think, and wait for 3.5 minutes.
That's right, on the controller setup screen, so it appeared again there, and one series that it's appeared over and over again in is in fact the Animal Crossing series.
Yeah.
Now that's no surprise because in that game there's a character called KK Slider, you know, the music-playing dog-old chap.
Oh yes, I know, yes.
Now actually in Japan he's known as Totakeke, which is of course a reference to this chap Mr. Kazumi Totaka. So of course he will also play the song if you ask him to play the record known as KK Song, and you can even get his song in that game.
Very interesting secrets here.
Yes, and that applies in many of the Animal Crossing games, also in Yoshi Touch and Go, of course being a Yoshi game, and even Super Smash Bros. Brawl on the Wii.
Well, there's an interesting one, yes indeed. Now, a lot of people might not have even known it was there, but it indeed was.
And I have to say, Fiddles, in very recent times, we are talking 2012 Animal Crossing New Leaf. When I found about this, I almost slapped my forehead in amazement. It seems to me that if you wait on the online loading screen inside Captain's boat for 2.5 minutes, guess what, old chap?
The song plays.
That's right, but that one is particularly well hidden because you have to have a terrible internet connection in order to wait that long on the loading screen.
Very interesting. So it's triggered by all sorts of things. As you say, sometimes you have to have a bad internet connection for it to work.
Yes.
Because, you're not necessarily going to be on that screen that long. So to find all these would be, well, perhaps in some cases for people, impossible.
That's right.
But
But
yet
of course,
they're there.
there is a very big title released in 14 that featured this game, and if you've seen the title of this video, you already know what that title is, you know.
Well, most certainly, yes indeed. They're back again, or he's back again with a Phantom song.
Yes.
In Mario Kart 8 of all things.
Mario Kart 8 Fails. Now, in order to hear this, you're going to have some good ears, because in Mario Kart 8, you can't actually turn off the course music, you'll see. But nevertheless, get your ears open and pop along to the Yoshi Valley N64 course. If you see a Yoshi who's sort of just standing there waving at you calmly, that's the one you've got to drive up to on the side of the track. Once you're bouncing up and down, don't do it. But you need to go to a Yoshi who's waving at you and listen very closely to what that Yoshi is humming on the side of the road.
Most certainly, it's very faint as you say, but it's there.
Now listen closely to the following piece of footage and see if you can hear it, fellows. Now, if you have good ears, fellows, or perhaps particularly loud speakers, you may be able to hear in there Yoshi singing that infamous and notorious song once more inside Mario Kart 8.
Most certainly, yes, it is there. It's very, very quiet, but it's nevertheless there.
That's
and
right.
So they put a sneaky one in there. He obviously feels he has to do it, or else perhaps, I don't know.
And I think each time we find out this song is in a new game, it's almost like a feeling of gotcha on his part, because we've been caught by this fellow yet again.
Well, most
Without
certainly.
knowing it was there all along, you see.
Yes, he started, so he just can't stop now, I think.
That's right, old boy. Mr. Tukaka. Of course, another title it appeared in was Yoshi's New Island on the 3DS.
Most certainly, Yoshi's New Island 3DS.
See, fellows, it seems to me as if this mysterious melody has been hidden by the sound designer Mr. Tukaka in all these Nintendo titles over the past 25 years. And so really, if you ask me, it's a challenge each year to find a Nintendo game, if any, that contains the tune for that particular year or that system.
Well, most certainly it is, yes. You wouldn't know, you see, unless you know where to go, what to do, or you perhaps came across it by accident.
Yes, that's right. There are in fact some unconfirmed titles that may or may not contain his song, and amongst the list of those titles is, of course, Wave Race 64.
Ah, very interesting, yes indeed.
It might just be lurking in there somewhere, old chap.
I understand it's in Wii Sports as well.
Perhaps. We don't know for sure. It could be in the Wii Channel music as well, which he also made the music for. These various things that he's worked on. Indeed, it may appear there somewhere, it may not do. But certainly, I can't imagine people out there sitting on one of the Wii Channel screens for 50 minutes to try to find it, old chap.
I wonder if it's in Smash Bros. Wii U.
It might be.
I bet it is.
Well, I suppose so. If you think about it, it was in the Smash Bros. Brawl version. And
Exactly.
of course, the Smashville stage did return in the Wii U version, so it could well be there as well.
Indeed, but just no one's found it yet, maybe.
Perhaps not, old boy, or no one's picked up on it until now.
Really?
You heard it here first, fellows.
Oh, yes.
Well, it's just a theory. So there you are, fellows, the mysterious Tataka's song. And I think it sounds quite spooky, old chap.
Well, it most certainly is, and a rather interesting little secret there in Mario Kart 8, but of course, a little history there for you about the song, where it's come from, and just its history.
Yes, so the next time you're playing a Nintendo game, videos, if you hear that mysterious melody, two things. Firstly, you know what it is, and secondly, report it to us at once, I say.
Oh, yes, indeed.
We want to know, you know. Mr. Tataka's song, the mystery thereof, continues, fellows. Why is he doing it? Which game will it appear in next? You tell us, but this has been Game Joe and Bertie bringing you the news of the mysterious melody in Mario Kart 8. Thank you for joining us, I say. I will look forward to seeing you once more the next exciting out in my word. Until then...